Tonight, we're breaking down a pivotal debate over the recognition of a Palestinian state. The UK and more than 160 countries now say it's time, but the United States argues it violates the Oslo Accords and shuts down peace talks. From diplomatic law to controversial Doha strikes, the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's take a look at this exchange.
Reaction to so many countries, led by the UK, but France, Canada, Australia, 160 states in total now, recognizing a Palestinian state.
We're disappointed as a United States in our allies, people that we are great friends with, because
this is the central legal argument. Supporters of the recognition see it as affirming the Palestinian statehood under international law, but opponents warn breaches the Oslo framework and kills momentum in the peace talks. This tension between diplomacy and legality is driving headlines right now.
First of all, it's a violation of the Oslo Accords. That's problematic. But more importantly, it has had the opposite effect of what I think they wanted to see happen. The first thing that happened, as Secretary Rubio has repeatedly pointed out, it just ended negotiations with Hamas. That froze absolutely stone cold. The second thing, we've been desperately trying to work some resolve to the impasse between a financial crisis between the Palestinian Authority and Israel. There are some issues that are very harmful to the Palestinian Authority. Quite frankly, it's not good for anyone. Remittance money should go back to the PA, but there's some unresolved issues. We were making progress, and I've been going back and forth between Ramallah and Jerusalem trying to work on it. When this happened, that ended the discussion, and we're back to zero on that. And the third thing,
notice how every action has a chain reaction. Recognition sparks debate over unilateral moves on Israel's side too, reinforcing the argument that outside declaration can raise the stakes instead of lowering them.
That happened is that it has emboldened Israel to start talking about declaring sovereignty over parts of Judea and Samaria. So all of those things, I don't think, were the intended consequences of the decision by countries like France and the UK to unilaterally declare a Palestinian state, but that's the result of it.
I mean, there's something you haven't mentioned there, which I think is also highly significant, which is Israel's attack on Doha. Now, Qatar is an American ally. It is the home of the biggest American base in the Middle East, 10,000 or more servicemen and women there.
This is where the conversation shifts. Qatar isn't just another country. It's a home to the Americans' largest Middle East base. Linking Palestine recognition with Israel's strike in Doha brings in the U.S. security interest, not just regional politics.
Surely, as the ambassador, you must have been outraged by what Israel did there to one of your allies.
I don't know that I would say that the U.S. was outraged. We knew just barely in advance of it that notification was given to the White House. But as the Prime Minister of Israel made very clear, it was their decision and theirs alone. It was not something the U.S. was a part of, did not participate in, did not know well enough in advance to really make an impact on it. It was a decision they made. And whether or not it was the best decision, time will tell.
I mean, you talk about the negotiations with Hamas coming to a screeching halt because of the announcement of the state of Palestine being recognized by so many countries. But many would say that this attack in Doha, which was directly targeting the Hamas negotiators who were at that moment gathering to consider a proposal for a peace settlement, it failed. It didn't kill any of the people it was targeting. It killed actually a Qatari official was one of those who died. So it was a failure as an attack. But even if it had been successful, how on earth would anyone expect peace negotiations to continue if the very people on one of the two sides are being attacked with a view to killing them all? That to me made absolutely no sense. And if you're on the Hamas side and you are charged with trying to negotiate any kind of settlement, surely that would be the moment you would shut up shop, because actually, if you're going to get killed, what's the point?
Well, Piers, let's go back and just remember Hamas had already pretty much shut those negotiations down. They were pretending that they were open to things, but they really weren't. That's why Steve Witkoff left. It's why the secretary made his statements. It's why everything had chilled. Nothing was really moving. Hamas was making unreasonable demands that were never going to happen. The president gave them a pretty clear mandate.
These are maximalist conditions, total release of hostages, and Hamas out of Gaza. Advocates say it's the only path to security. Critics argue it makes negotiating peace virtually impossible. This hostage demand is a pressure point that shapes all future negotiations.
President Trump said, let all the hostages go, not some. Don't dribble them out. Let them all go. And you have to leave. You have to give up any hope that you're going to continue to rule Gaza, to have a future in it, because you're not. And that's been a pretty consistent message, even from the Arab League, who unanimously voted for exactly the same thing. So let's be clear who Hamas is. You know this to be true. Hamas is the murderous barbarians who butchered people on October the 7th. They continue to hold hostages. They continue to torture them. They torture their own people. They put them in harm's way knowingly and threaten, and even in fact do shoot them if they try to get out of harm's way when Israel is announcing that they're going to hit a particular terrorist target. So these are not people that even on their best day negotiate in good faith or have any intention of doing something that is moral. They just are incapable of that.
Right.
This closing line crystallized the whole debate. Recognition, strikes, hostage, all circle back to the same unresolved question. Is either side negotiating in good faith?
But is deliberately targeting the negotiators on the Hamas side with a view to killing them as they're considering a proposal, is that acting in good faith? I mean, surely that is not acting in good faith. And America, of all countries in the world, given it happened in the country that is one of their allies, their big, you could argue their biggest ally, given the presence of so many American military there. Surely America must have been. You said you had no forward knowledge, okay, but once you knew what they'd done, surely the United States, somebody somewhere, you or Donald Trump or somebody, would have got on the phone to Netanyahu and said, "What the hell are you playing at?"
I want to repeat. Prime Minister said it was their decision. They did what they thought would be instrumental in getting rid of some of the people of Hamas who are still making the big decisions. That's been problematic for this entire process. But Israel is trying to find a way to bring this to a conclusion. For 22 months now, plus, they've had hostages being held. We still have 2 Americans being held. They're deceased, but their families want their remains back. And Hamas has not budged. They really have not been serious about coming to any reasonable way to end this because they don't want it to end. If they let all the hostages go, there's nothing left holding them to any point of power. And that's where this situation has devolved. Whether Israel made a good decision, whether or not it was successful, one for the history books. But I know that the U.S. has had the position that we have respect for a sovereign country, Israel, who is our ally, our partner, and we recognize they're going to do what they think will help them get those hostages, all of them, out of Gaza and out from under the clutches.
This debate is over Palestine statehood, hostages, and the recognition that leaves us with the same unresolved question. Can peace be built if neither side trusts the other good faith? That's the dividing line shaping the conflict today. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, where do you think the path to peace really lies? Your thoughts help drive the conversation forward.